Welcome back to Tip of the Day. Let's talk about motivation. Motivation in this context is simply the desire to engage in our sport or activity. This might be reflected in behaviors such as choosing to engage in that activity, engaging in the activity outside of normal practice times, the amount of effort one's giving, or how long someone might persist in attaining their goals. And the source of motivation can be broadly categorized into either intrinsic or extrinsic motivators. Intrinsic motivation can be defined as one engaging in an activity simply because they find it enjoyable. Extrinsic motivation could be defined as engaging in an activity because there's rewards or punishments separate from the activity itself. This could be money, social approval, pressure or intimidation from a coach, or fearing the consequences of not performing well. And similar to what I said about outcome goals versus process goals, extrinsic motivation is not inherently bad, but relying on it too heavily could create a dependency on external rewards, a high risk for burnout, lower intrinsic motivation by making one feel coerced or controlled, and it can actually contribute to one neglecting important opportunities to learn and grow. Especially in the money-driven world that we live in, and especially for those at work or who make money off of performing, we're much more likely to have a shortage of intrinsic motivation. So how can we cultivate more intrinsic motivation? It is generally accepted that intrinsic motivation relies on these three needs: the need to feel competent, to have a sense of belonging, and to have autonomy. Feeling competent, of course, has to do with our actual skill level, but also how we perceive and respond to failure, the amount of challenge that we're faced with and overcome, and how our peers, our parents, and our coaches talk to us. Having a sense of belonging has to do with feeling supported and accepted and having a sense of shared identity. And autonomy has to do with having choice, control, and responsibility. While much of this does rely on our peers or leaders or parents influencing how we feel about things, how we think about things, what we're motivated by, there are plenty of tools out there that we can use to boost our feelings of competence, sense of belonging, autonomy, and ultimately foster our intrinsic motivation. All right, that wraps up my short introduction on motivation and tip of the day number 7. Thanks for tuning in. Comments, questions, suggestions below. A bunch of new updates to my website and the link in my bio. If you or anyone you know would like to work with me individually or as a group, please reach out. Happy to talk about whether or not this is a right fit for you. Thanks again. See you next time.